Hey guys, welcome to a fairly tiny book haul. I'm excited to make my book haul smaller. I've got some very different for me goals coming up for 2025 that I'm going to be talking about in December, and smaller book hauls is part of it. So this book haul is going to be different because of the size, but also I've decided to share some of the ebooks that I've been acquiring as well, which is something I don't think I've ever done for book hauls, partially because I had never really been acquiring ebooks, but I am very slowly becoming an ebook reader, and I'm excited about that because it's something I've wanted to be for so many years. But first, we are going to do the physical books. But even before the physical books, I got like some different goodies here. I really appreciate it when people are interested in sending me fun book mail, or I don't know, just a sweet little note. I'm really big on the happy mail. Have a bunch of pen pals send out happy mail just for fun all the time. And if someone's going to send some to me, I want to say thank you by sharing it here so you guys can see it too, and also just for giving them some love. Actually, the first thing is Holly has finally started selling some of her stickers. I have been rooting for her for years to do this, and so I bought all her sticker packs. Honestly, my favorite is the donuts. I've already actually used some. That one is already out of there. My favorite is the donuts though, because I love the colors and they look delicious, and they're donuts, so obviously they're good. So I bought one of each of her stickers. I will leave her announcement video linked below. You guys should check that out, support her. And Sherry replied to a fun mail that I sent her, and she sent me some, like, a sweet little note and some little stickers as well, which is fun. I am going to be putting these into probably like my everyday journal. I have like a pocket journal where I put stickers and write a little bit. Yeah, so thank you, Sherry. And this is the back of the envelope. I can show you this side because it doesn't have an address. So very cute. So fun to receive in the mail. If you guys enjoy receiving fun stuff in the mail, stay tuned for my 2025 goals. I think then I'll have a bit of an announcement for you there. Okay, now we'll go on to the books. Okay, the first stack is going to be the books that have been sent to me. These I have not read yet, but I only say yes to books that sound like they would be something I would be interested in. So it's not a complete endorsement, but I'm hopeful. The first one is actually an Enclave book. This is The Unraveling of Emmeline Dulain. This is by Lindsay A. Franklin. She wrote the Story Peddler series, which I actually think I've only read the first book, but I read it before I was even into fantasy at all and enjoyed it. So that's saying something. This is A Shattered Heart, A Fate Foretold, The World Undone by Tales of Old. Emmeline Dulain just wants to know what happened to her sister Camille 7 years ago on the fateful day she vanished. Literally. Emmeline witnessed Camille unravel and disappear, but no one believes her. Since they think she's crazy, the least the cops could do is solve Camille's case. Is a little closure too much to ask? But Emmeline's life is upended when she's pulled through a portal into the fantasy land of her childhood imaginings. A magical library holding the story worlds of every story ever published, and trouble is brewing in the land of Rivenlia. Wow, this sounds good. I love portal fantasy because it gives you a chance to kind of immerse yourself into the world, learn about the world along with the character. The first sentence, oh my goodness, I just read it. It's very good. My sister is dead. That is a very good, gripping first sentence. So very excited to start this. Then I got Year 0033 by J.M. Evans. This one says, Chella has lived the whole of her life in area IF208, one of many areas set up by the New World Council after war, famine, and plague caused global devastation. Religion is banned, supposedly for the sake of world peace, so Chella has to keep her Christian faith a secret. But when her best friend disappears, it's like, disappearance is a bit of a theme here. Her fiance is arrested, and astonishing rumors of people living outside surface. A new chapter in her life begins. Sounds interesting. Chapter 1. Chella shivered as a cold draught seeped down her neck. That's nice and chilling. I like that start. So there's that one. I feel like I need to turn on another lamp. It's dark in here. We had our first snow today, which it's gonna melt right away anyway, but it's dark out there. It's gloomy. I'm not sure if that's gonna make any difference, but oh well. Then we've got Salvation and Doom. This is by C. Buck Jones. 6 years after the Cathardi invaded Earth, claiming to be friends, Josh fulfilled his childhood dream of going into space. Now his friends were dead, and the Yurlak had invaded Earth. The Cathardi refused to help Earth. He couldn't trust them. They betrayed his people, treating them like an early warning system against a known threat. Now he and fellow Earthling Kim had fled from the Cathardi to the frontier to start a new life. I like that cover. Salvation and Doom. Chapter 1, first sentence. Josh woke to the clanging of the jump alarm. There we go. Now we've got a middle grade. This one is from the desk of Lizzie Lazowski by Melody J. Bremen. This one says, when 8th grader Lizzie Lazowski receives a pen pal assignment, she puts her letter into a bottle and throws it into the ocean. A few days later, she receives an anonymous response in her mailbox. She continues to write to her mystery pen pal, answering prompts like, what's your favorite food? Milkshakes. And who is your best friend? She doesn't have one at the moment. Through her letters, she tells about her biggest dream, to secure a spot at Northcrest High School for the Arts. If she submits a creative project, a true story about one person, she can win a scholarship. And Chloe, the new girl at school, just might be the one to help her complete this project, and maybe even fill the best friend role. This is a very like sunny, happy cover. I like that. First sentence. Dear possible pen pal, congratulations. Let's read it a little bit more. You are the lucky recipient of my bottle in the ocean. I think this will be fun. It looks like there's a bunch of different letters and mixed media, some text messages maybe, going back and forth in here. Okay, now on to books that were not sent to me. One of them is one that I found. Where did I find this? Oh, I found it in a Little Free Library. I did a Little Free Library tour. Oh man, this has been a while. A couple months ago now, over on my vlog channel. And I found Anthony Trollope's The Warden. I have not read any Anthony Trollope yet, but I own one, I think. And so when I saw this in a Little Free Library, I had to grab it, even though it is a little bit tattered. There's a couple pages that look like they're about to fall out, but they are just from the introduction, so I think it'll be good. What is this even about? One of the most topical of his books, it tells the story of Mr. Harding, an elderly clergyman warden of an almshouse for old men, who resigns his church sinecure, I don't even know what that is, when it becomes the center of public controversy. In it, Trollope reveals his special genius, satirizing the Church of England. Yet, while he wishes to expose an abuse of privilege, he is also vehement in his attack on the reformers. I have no idea. Let's see what the first sentence of the first chapter is. Assuming I can find it. Here we go. The Reverend Septimus Harding was, a few years since, a beneficed clergyman residing in the cathedral town of blank. Let us call it Barchester. That is so funny. The whole like, especially, oh my goodness, my 11-year-old is still just coughing and sneezing. It's probably coming through. The whole thing that they did in the Victorian period where they would just write a, oh yeah, there's some pages falling out, a line instead of like saying the name of a town. Why wouldn't they just completely make up towns and be okay with it? It cracks me up that they have to like, you know, Blankshire or whatever they would do. So, yeah, I don't know anything about it, but I grabbed this one. And then my mom went thrifting a while ago and messaged me and asked if I wanted another copy of Anne of Green Gables, and of course I said yes. This one is the annotated Anne of Green Gables, and it's like huge and in perfect shape. It has like pictures and there's photographs throughout and all the annotations yet too, so I'm very curious about this because I really enjoy Anne. I'm in the middle of watching the first one with Megan Follows with my daughter. So I know I've read the book before, but like, let's read the first sentence because I have no idea what that is. Once I can find it. Chapter 1 is Mrs. Rachel Lynde is surprised. Mrs. Rachel Lynde lived just where the Avonlea Main Road dipped down into a little hollow fringed with elders and ladies' eardrops, and traversed by a brook that had its source way back in the woods of the old Cuthbert place. It was reputed to be an intricate, headlong brook in its earlier course through the woods, with dark secrets of pool and cascade. Wow, that's a long first sentence. Okay, yeah. Well, I know how the story goes, and I'm curious to read it from this edition. Is the hardcover? Okay, it's just blank. The annotated Anne of Green Gables on the side. It's a hefty book. I think maybe I now have like 8 editions of Anne. Honestly, I'm not sure. I may have lost track already. So, another one to add to my stack there. And then we will move on to ebooks. I do not have these well organized at all, so we're just gonna go in a random order. The first one is There Bleeds the Light. So this is coming out in November. This is the second book after, oh, why do I keep blanking on that? Whatever, it's the second book in the Song of the Solas series. This is a fantasy series where in the first book, we're following a main character who lives in an area that is completely dark. And she has some kind of like magic about her. She has a bit of a light and a light around her. So she tries to hide that fact from the villagers because she doesn't know what it means. And lots of stuff happens. While I'm talking about ebooks, I should also mention, if you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, which is on Substack, every week-ish, I've been doing my best to share a post with free or cheap ebooks. So if you're into that, definitely sign up. I'll make sure, like, the link is always below, but I'll make sure it's nice and high so you can see it. Chapter 1 of this, or sentence 1, I should say, says, I never imagined the night would make my soul sing. Andrea Renee's writing is very poetic. Each part of the books, she starts out with a poem that's just beautiful. That was like one of my favorite parts of the first book. Then I got The Wendy. This is supposed to be a Peter Pan retelling or inspired tale or something. I heard about this from Lindsay from BFCG. She said she hadn't read it, but she was curious and it was free. So I shared that in my newsletter. This first sentence says, by the year 1780, London was bursting at the seams. Okay. Another ebook that I shared in the deals, I'm probably not going to say that for everyone because these are pretty much all deals ones, is I got The Garden Girls. So this is book 3 in the series by Jessica R. Patch. The first one was Her Darkest Secret, which was really, really good. I haven't read book 2 yet, but I got book 3 because it was majorly on sale. And this is following a woman who is a special crimes unit for the FBI. And she is, yeah, it's intense, but really good. So I'm going to try to read the first sentence of chapter 1 of book 3, even though I haven't read book 2. Who drank the last of the coffee? Agent Tiberius Granger barked, holding up the empty coffee pot and waving it around the strange crimes unit. Well, good. We're starting on a light note. There is a prologue, but I don't want to read that. The next one is What Darkness Fears. Now, this is a short story collection, I believe. It's an anthology from 20 Hills Publishing, which I've been wanting to try some of their anthologies, and this one was on sale, so I thought, well, that's the perfect time to grab it. The slogan for the book is Light Dawns in Darkness, so that's perfect. This is part of their Black and Gold anthology series, which all of the covers are black and gold. So this is generally short stories, and then they usually do some poetry. I've also read their back in September, I read These Ties We Forge. So that's the first of their anthologies that I've read. So I'm gonna read the first sentence of the first short story, but I mean, it's one short story. So, in the dark, I make my way through winding bends and rustling leaves. The lantern in my hand guides my path. There we go. So usually theirs have a theme. What is the theme for this one? I guess the theme of this one is like darkness and then light winning out over darkness, which is what I always say that I like anyway, so that's perfect. What else did I get? Shatona had the first book in her New Cheltenham series available, so I got The Ghosts of New Cheltenham? Man, okay. So is there like a way to see what books are about? What's a guy to do when the ghosts of his past converge on his Christmas present? Mitchell hasn't done much with his life in the 4 years since college, to which his negative digits bank account and credit score will attest. So when news of an inheritance from a man he hasn't seen in years arrives on the same day as his eviction notice, he considers the odd terms of the will to be a no-brainer. Sure, he'll move into a building in the tourist village of New Cheltenham. Of course he'd be happy to live there for a year as a condition of the inheritance, and yes, he'll suffer the humiliation of creating, entering, and presenting at the local Dickens ghost story competition. Free room and board for a year, plus a rather substantial inheritance to boot. Who wouldn't? But then things start happening, I guess. So chapter 1, sentence 1, the scene couldn't have been more cliche if it had been ripped from the pages of a Dickens novel. Shatona's writing is always so good. What else did I add? I guess I don't know how far back I'm going, but we will say that's all that I've added. So yeah, upcoming, I'll try to organize better the books that I add for Kindle and then share them in my book hauls. And if you guys want those ebook deals and freebie posts sent to your email, make sure to subscribe to my Substack. And let me know what kind of books you guys have been buying lately. Thanks for joining me for this mini book haul.